We are in a very peculiar place, at the top of a hill where you have all your vineyards. We are here because I'd like you to explain to me the association of the ancient culture that you have from this area in Aconcagua that you include in your wines you make.
Basically, we are at the highest part of the hill Paidahuén. It's an island hill that is in the middle of our vineyard. We once walked around and we found paintings made by ancient civilizations, mainly pre-Columbian, which were Incas. They were made in the stones. There are around 500 drawings like this one here, and the story goes that in this part there were ancient civilizations, part of the Incas, who came to the hill to give thanks to their divinity, be it the sun, the water, etc. And throughout this part there are different drawings, and it turned into an archaeological park.
This one in particular is like a seashell, which you have adopted on its honor in one of your wines.
This is on the label of our main wine, El Icono. We have a very classic Mediterranean climate. All precipitation is concentrated in autumn and winter, more and more only in the winter. And here we are on average between 850 and 980 meters above sea level. There is a marked influence from the mountain range. There's more of an influence from the breeze of the mountain range than from the coast.
From my understanding, the breeze gives freshness to the wines and the altitude a longer maturation.
It is mainly given by the thermal amplitude in the period of maturation, which is the most important period, or one of the most important. And here, the thermal amplitude ranges from 15 to 20 degrees between day and night. Right? In the morning we can have 15 to 10 degrees, and in the afternoon we can have 30 to 35 degrees.
Rainfall has decreased significantly with climate change. The river flows thin, almost without water. You told me before that it's 100-200 millimeters per year?
Yes, this is the Aconcagua River. In this area, on average, a normal year gives 300 millimeters per year. This year we were at 100 millimeters. Last year we were at 100 millimeters. Right now, which is the rainy season, which you've seen, we've had 40 millimeters accumulated. What saves us is the accumulation of snow. The reserve is right there, and it allows us to have water in the summer.
Mario, we are in a vertical section of the terrain in which you can see how shallow the ground is above. These rocks remind me of Priorat, La Licorella. Surely it's not the same, I know the geologist, but it's very important. Some roots are visible. This, I suppose, gives all the character to your wines.
So for a bit of history, basically we are on the Paidahuén hill. This hill is created by the uplift of the Andes mountain range, which we can see there. We're talking about around 120 million years. This was the Cretaceous period, and mainly, they're this red rock called andesites. It belongs to the andesite rocks. They are rocks disintegrated over time. You can basically break them. The particularity is that there is less soil, there is less fertility. That implies that the roots can go searching for nutrients between all of these layers. And this gives a very specific personality to what we get from here. This part here is older. A lot of broken stone, very little layer of soil. We are talking about no more than 40 centimeters, and in the foothills we are at 60 centimeters of soil, around 60 to 80 centimeters.
Viticulture in these conditions is not easy. we're in a very steep hill. I've seen the vineyards on the way up here very well. They're very steep. How do you work them all manually?
The entire part of the hill is worked manually. We have slopes around 30%. Terraces are made, and on the hills, we use an approach that when it's harvested, it has to be harvested while tied up with rope in some areas. These are basically the components for the most high-end wines. What this hill allows us to have are two sides. Here we are on the east side of the hill. We have viticulture on the eastern side and the western side. Both sides have different effects of concentration and maturity on the grape and quality in the bottle. In this part, we have more Commoner and Cabernet Sauvignon.
In this eastern part, the sun reaches in the morning, the other side in the afternoon.
Exactly. Right now it's 3 o'clock, and we're in the shade. The hill gives it shade, which makes it another temperature and a new microclimate. Mainly Cabernet Sauvignon, Commoner, and Syrah. We make very good Syrah. The only problem is that it is difficult to sell Syrah. We have Syrah in different parts of the hill, and also at the highest part of the hill. It's a component of important lines for us, like the Laguna or the Gran Reserva.
Mario, we are in your room of beautiful barrels. You have 1,000 or so. Explain how you made the wines that we will taste later, in general.
Basically here we have around 1,000 barrels. There is a percentage of American barrels and French barrels, and within the barrels, we work with different sizes and dimensions. 225, 300 and 400 liters, which basically makes the delivery of each barrel faster or slower. It also affects the aspect of micro-oxygenation. We have wine that we work on for 8 to 10 months in the barrel, 10 to 12 months, 14 to 16 months, and the most high-end wines we work on for 16 to 18 months. For example, for the Pinot, we try to have it in for no longer than 10 months, so the fruit isn't lost, but that depends on each year's harvest, because there is an evolution.
But that's once it reaches the barrel. What about before the aging?
All of the fermentations are done in stainless steel tanks. There are some lines of wines that are fermented in barrels. We also do fermentation in barrels. For the wines that are here, they are all high-level reserves. We do normal maceration for red wine for 25 days. For the higher level, wines can reach up to 30 or 35 days. In general, they're temperature-controlled fermentations at around 28-30 degrees centigrade. Although for the reserves, it's around 25 to 28 degrees, just because of the extraction work.